These people stare at you and size you up because they're trying to figure out how far they can go in trying you. You see, there are some people who get the impression that maybe they can try you, maybe they can get under your skin, maybe they can start some kind of trouble with you. So they'll proceed to stare at you and size you up to see just how far they can go. You often see this with jealous, envious women, jealous, envious people, when they're somehow intimidated by you or they want to start something with you because they're triggered by your aura, they're triggered by your light, they're triggered by how you are as a woman. They'll start sizing you up, looking at you, staring at you, as if they're looking into your soul to try to get some reaction out of you. You see, the way I see that kind of thing, I see that kind of thing as those monitoring spirits, those kind of demonic watchers, those people who try to provoke a reaction out of you, even when you're minding your business. Now, just a little disclaimer, just because you catch somebody staring at you, that doesn't always mean they have some kind of ill intent towards you. You know, why do people look at flowers? Because they're beautiful. So sometimes someone admiring your beauty or admiring your personality or admiring something that you're doing can be mistaken for ill intent. But let's be real. Oftentimes, especially when those stares come from other women, it's normally not that. It's normally her being some kind of hater, being triggered by the fact that you're doing you, and she starts sizing you up. What does this look like in real time for women when they're jealous of other women or envious of other women, get triggered by them, and start sizing them up? It can come in three ways. Number one, the way they look at you. If you enter a room and you see women suddenly looking you up and down from head to toe, they're sizing you up. They're looking at the type of clothes you have on. They're looking at how you wear your clothes and how they fit. They're looking at the brands you have on or the brands you don't have on. They're looking at how you're wearing what you're wearing. Then they start looking at your body language. They're checking your posture. They're checking if you walk with an air of confidence, which normally you do. Otherwise, they wouldn't be sizing you up. They're checking for confidence. They're checking for poise, and they're checking for grace. They want to see just how classy, how demure, how gracious you are as a woman to further size you up to try to tear you down. You see, when women, especially when they're jealous of other women, they are good at trying to size you up. This also comes in the form of them being way too intrusive with you, especially when they're first meeting you. You see, women who are often envious and intimidated of the presence of another woman, especially those women they are meeting for the first time, they like to get all in your face. And when I say in your face, I don't mean like right here necessarily. I mean they like to occupy your personal space because they're sizing you up and staring at you to see if they're able to try you. They want to see the reaction and the response that they're going to get from you if they get into your personal space. They want to see if they can make you nervous. And see, women who have that kind of jealous, bully type energy, when they're sizing you up, I liken it to the way they say you should be if you ever encountered a bear, how you should make yourself look bigger. Well, think of yourself as the bear in the room. Very intimidating, very threatening. Some bears are very cute and cuddly looking, but very dangerous. When a woman is jealous of another woman's energy, you have that big energy and you walk into the room, her way of sizing you up is trying to make herself appear to be bigger. So she tries to get into your space, occupy the room more. She wants to dominate the energy in the room. She wants you to feel like she's in charge in that room. So she's going to try to come to you, be in your face, be in your personal space, and see just how much of that you will tolerate before you stop her in her tracks. And if you are not that kind of person who is confident enough to say, how are you? I'm doing good. Okay. And leave it at that, not allow them to kind of run over top of you, because that's what bullies like to do. When women are triggered by another woman's light and they attempt to kind of override her in that way because they're envious and they start sizing you up, they want their energy to appear bigger than yours. They want their light to shine brighter than yours. If they feel like somehow you are dimming their light by being in that space, that's when they start trying to size you up. So if she comes into your presence, gets in your personal space, start asking you all kinds of maybe inappropriate questions for the first interaction, or maybe she's just doing too much. As women, you understand exactly what I mean by that. She's trying to see how far she can go and trying to make you nervous, trying to crush your confidence, and just trying to make you feel uncomfortable. See, when a woman stares at you a lot, often when they're jealous and envious or intimidated by your presence, they start sizing you up by trying to make you feel uncomfortable. They don't want you to feel comfortable in the same space they're in. They want you to feel nervous, and they start sizing you up and looking at you and being in your space, hoping that you'll start feeling uneasy and nervous. And that's when their energy can appear bigger. That's when their light can shine brighter and yours will go dimmer. But see, for a woman who gets triggered by the light of another woman, when you don't give them that, when you don't allow their bad energy, their bullying attempts, their attempt to size you up and kind of bring you back or bring you down a notch, when it doesn't work, that's when they back off. But why do women size each other up in the first place? In my opinion, it comes down to jealousy and envy. Let me sip some of my tea. When a woman is jealous or envious of another woman's light, and I know you probably heard this many, many times about not letting anybody dim your light, let your light shine bright, it's your spirit and all these things. But that is true. People, not just women, but people in general, when they get threatened by another person who isn't necessarily doing anything to them and start sizing them up and staring at them and trying to make them feel uncomfortable and awkward by staring crazily into their soul, it's because they're triggered by your light, your aura. It's the way you carry yourself as a woman. And see, women like to size other women up when their aura seems to be overriding theirs. When your light seems to be overriding theirs, they can't take it. They don't like the fact that you bring light into a room that might be full of darkness, a room that might be full of heaviness. The moment you enter the room, people are drawn to you. People start talking to you. People like the fact that you're there. People like how you speak. People just like being in your presence. And to a woman who does not like that, who's jealous of that, she will start sizing you up. Like, what's the song, Michael Jackson, "Wanna Be Starting Something"? That's what's going to happen. She's going to start looking at you as if you are her enemy, simply because other people are being drawn to you and because you're not fazed by her negativity. You might see her sizing you up. And this is not just a matter of just the envy stares and staring at you and looking at you in a very awkward way, because it can be very awkward. Many women have experienced those envy stares and being sized up by other women. And this happens more times than women talk about. Anytime you go into a room that women are there and you're unfamiliar with them and you're the new person in the room, you're being sized up. People look at you and they sometimes assess your entire character based on how you walk into the room. Their first impression of you is based on yourself, but it's also based on their own thoughts, their own prejudgments. And some women, when they proceed to size up other women, sometimes they're doing it from a place of straight up envy and jealousy. Their own insecurity starts speaking. That's why a woman you barely know will suddenly start being very nasty to you, very mean to you, because she's sizing you up. She's trying to figure out how far she can go in trying you. Now, this goes beyond just the staring, the dirty looks, trying to get into your personal space and, maybe asking you too many questions about your personal life. Because another way a woman tries to size you up, especially when they're jealous and envious of you, they want to see how many inappropriate questions they can ask of you before you put them in their place. To me, and this should have been number one, this is one of the number one reasons how a woman tries to size you up. She want to see, like, if you're a clown, if you're timid, if you're that kind of woman that can be easily toyed with, like if you're that kind of woman that's so nervous, you won't tell somebody that that's none of your business, or you shouldn't be asking me that, or why are you asking me that? See, women who have that bully energy, that bully mentality, they're looking for those kind of signs in someone who has a very bright light. If you are a bright light in the world, if you are magnetic and people are drawn to you, if you have a radiating presence when you walk into a room, there are going to be some women who are going to be very jealous, very envious, and they're going to start sizing you up to see how far they can go or whether or not they can try you. And it comes in the form of them trying to ask you inappropriate questions. And the moment they understand that, oh, I can't try her, like she's not the one to play with, then they back off. But that doesn't mean they won't try. You see, some people, they get fooled by the fact that you might be well put together, not just physically in your body, but just the way you carry yourself as a woman. You might not make it known to people that while you are very feminine, while you are very classy, while you are very kind to most people, you also have street smarts. You also are very savvy. You also are very shrewd. And they might not see that in the way that you carry yourself, because you have that softness and that kindness about you. But see, a woman who's sizing you up, she's looking at that softness and kindness as a weakness, but they don't understand that while you have that, you also are very wise, very discerning, and you're very shrewd. You know when somebody is playing with you. You know when somebody is trying you. You know when somebody is trying to size you up to see if they can come up against you, and you're prepared. You see, jealous, envious people, haters who try to use envious, bully energy to size you up, to give you those envy stares to try to intimidate you and make you feel nervous. What they don't understand about you is that you're used to those kind of things. You're the kind of woman that even when you walk in a room and you're not paying attention to anybody else, you know that people are paying attention to you. And it's not that you're saying that in a cocky or conceited way. It's just that you understand that the light on the inside of you, especially I believe if it's from God, that's going to radiate wherever you go, and be it for good or for bad, because you will attract decent people, you will attract good people, but you will also attract some demons who are repelled by your light and they want to shut it down. So these women try to size you up. These women, these people try to size you up and stare at you because they're trying to see if they can try you. They want to see how far they can go in trying you. And you see, this is how people who try to size you up, especially other women, because I really haven't heard, I mean, there are certain situations where you'll have men actually sizing up women. You know, those are typically men who are a little bit saucy and sassy. You know what I mean? And that's an even more awkward situation. But typically, you have women who are sizing up other women when they get threatened by your light, when they get threatened by the fact that you are a woman who has confidence, who has class, and you're not really worrying about other people. You see, women stare at other women sometimes, and it can be very awkward when you look up and catch somebody staring at you, especially another woman, and she proceeds to continue staring at you, or she makes like this face as if she smelled something rotten. It's all envy and jealousy. Even if you perceive that that person looks better than you, even if you perceive that that person is beautiful, if they are doing things like sizing another woman up, giving them stink faces, giving them the skunk eye, what have you, it's because their spirit is rotten on the inside. It's because their life is trash. It's because something about them is not sitting right about themselves, and they take it out on the next person. So don't be surprised when you're sized up by other women. It's a reflection of them, not you. And for you as a woman, it's not really your job to worry about who's sizing you up, who's staring at you. But let's be real. These interactions can be very awkward. And if you are not prepared to deal with these weirdo energy people, you'll walk into rooms, start shrinking back as if you don't belong to be there. And that's what we cannot have. So as women, understand that when a woman starts sizing you up, when she's staring at you, it's because you're doing something right. It's because you're carrying yourself as the woman, as the confident, leveled up, focused woman that you are. You don't allow other people to dim your light. And that is another reason why you get sized up by other women often. It's because despite what they try to do to you, how they size you up, how they show their little envy stares and their monitoring spirits and all these different things, despite all of that, you are unaffected. You notice it, but you don't care. You still do you. You still focus on being a light in a dark place. And there will be some people, especially other women, who will not be able to stand that. They wish they had the ability to get under your skin, but when they don't have that, sometimes they go even harder in trying to size you up. You know, I have seen situations where women actually start full-blown conflicts with other women simply because they were not really able to get at them the way they wanted to get at them. And even in those situations, they realize that person is not the one to be tried. And it's not that you think of yourself as some kind of bully, or you think of yourself as this, like, you know, tough chick in some way. It's just that you're not going to let people play with you in that way. You're not going to let people try to distract you with their nonsense. And when women try to size up other women to see if they can try you, to see if they're able to try another woman, that's nonsense. Not only is it nonsense, it's childish. And you have some grown women, instead of working on themselves, instead of focusing on their own life, instead of focusing on their own relationships, they'd rather focus on other women who are not looking for any problems and start problems. That leads me to my next point. Why does it appear that women who are not a problem are often the ones who are sought out to have problems with by envious women, by women who desire to size you up? It's always those non-problematic people, non-problematic women, who tend to get the most smoke, as you say, from other women. Why is that? In my opinion, there is such a thing as provoking spirits, the way I believe. Provoking spirits. And when people notice in you that you have a very light spirit, you're very lighthearted, and not just spiritual wise, but just your personality, your character. You have a very playful character, a playful personality. Your character is very light. You're very joyous. You're very peaceful for the most part. You're just very light. You know how to take things easy. You're very laid back. Those provoking spirits hate that. Those people who like to provoke people to wrath, provoke people to do bad things, provoke people to come out of character, they do those kind of things because they're bitter and miserable, and your light triggers their demons. Your light is making them frustrated with themselves because they don't have it. A dark spirit will hate a light spirit. So when people are trying to size you up and constantly get you out of character, it's because they have a lot of darkness on the inside of them. And I don't care what it looks like on the outside. You know, the person who's doing the provoking, the person who is sizing you up and trying to get you to come out of character, they could have all of the diamonds and rubies in the land. They could have beautiful hair, beautiful nails, beautiful clothing, and live in the most amazing part of town or the world, and still have a dark spirit, because it's deeper than just aesthetics. It's deeper than looks. There are some very dark-spirited people who constantly walk around sizing other people up, trying to spread their misery, despite them looking like a decent person. And you see, women who have discernment, who have wisdom, you can recognize from the onset when you're dealing with a jealous, envious person who is sizing you up and trying to figure out if they can try you. You have to understand and know that these people are only doing that to you because you have triggered something in them that they are not ready to deal with. Oftentimes, more times than not, it's nothing that you say or do, especially when you meet someone. And I need you to understand this, because a lot of women start internalizing these things and say, what did I do wrong? You walked into the room. That's all you did. And if you're not careful, you will let some people try to convince you that somehow it's your fault for walking into a room confidently, that somehow you made other people feel uncomfortable. You need to tone it down a little bit. You know, people like to scream that, oh, you're not being humble. You're not being, you know, you make other people feel uneasy. You make other people feel like, you know, you're somebody. No, that's how they feel about themselves. They feel inferior. That's how they feel with you and with whoever else. That's a them problem. As my old business tech teacher used to say, that sounds like a personal problem. It's like you have no control over someone else's insecurities. And for my spiritual people, I have to throw this out there because I can hear it. It says, don't provoke other people. Don't be conceited, provoking one another. You walking into a room feeling confident about yourself, minding your business, is not provoking someone else. You're not rubbing anything in anybody's face. It's you simply being you. And to a person who is jealous and envious, that alone will trigger them, and they'll start sizing you up, trying to start problems simply because you made them feel insecure. Not because of anything you've done, just because of who you are. And what are you supposed to do? Stop being who you are simply because other people are uncomfortable or jealous? And I'm not talking about sinful behaviors. I'm talking about your character and your personality as a woman. You can't stop being you to appease a demonic spirit. You can't stop being you to appease somebody's insecurity. Why would you do that? That's silly. So these people try to size you up and stare at you simply because they want to figure out how far they can go in trying you. And the moment you're not willing or going to allow them to override you, to overrun you, to push you around like you're nobody, then now you're a problem. And that's okay. And what they typically understand is when they understand that they can't get under your skin, when you can't be tried in that way, when you have a comeback for them, when you're not going to let somebody just push you around, that's when they back off. Every woman should have that queen energy that says, you're not going to push me around. You can try, but it's not going to work. And the more firm and the more stern you are as a woman, because you can be assertive without being aggressive, it's possible as a woman. The more you have that, the more people will respect you. Everybody's not going to like you, and that goes without saying for anyone, but they're going to respect you the least, at the least. And I'd rather have that than having people fake like me based on how much they can try me. Who has time for that? These people size you up and stare at you with their envy and their jealousy because they want to see how far they can go in trying you. Don't let them do it. Stay firm, stay stern, but also stay soft and feminine. Don't allow them to harden you, but don't allow them to play with you either. All right? Like and subscribe to the channel and share this content. Hit the notification bell so that you're aware when I post a brand new video. If you watch this video until the very end, put the high heel emoji in the comment section. I absolutely love to see it. Take care.